What's up, friend? I'm so happy you're here. If you're tuning in, it's because you realize how important it is to build a personal brand. And podcasting is one of those super efficient ways that you can do that. You know what? I used to be super skeptical of the whole online social media thing. I didn't want to be plugged into the metaverse. I didn't want to contribute to the machine. But you know what I realized? We're already in the metaverse. I'm serious. Instead of wearing an Oculus and having goggles over your head, we're just holding it in our hands. We are so plugged in already. But here's the cool thing I realized. I used to date an influencer and I used to be so pent up and be like, oh, why can't we be authentic and everything? You know what I realized? There's nothing more authentic than creating. You can either consume content or create content. And what's really ironic is that the people who create content are actually living more life than the screenheads who are just consuming. So all that said, podcasting in particular is a super efficient way for you to promote your voice, give your audience, you have an audience, okay? Long form content of you, your interest, and more specifically, your niche. And everyone's thinking, oh, all these niches are super saturated. They are not. You know why? Because there's nothing more niche than you. You have unique perspectives, you have unique background, and a lot of people can connect to a large majority of that. So we're going to get into how to actually leverage podcasting. This is a tool that is so exciting once you start to use it and leverage it. And what's really cool most of all is that you can do it absolutely for free, like I'm doing it. I was born in 1995, so my generation was one of the last ones with an internet-free childhood. I used to be in middle school, so I'd be like 13, 14, and I had a Motorola Razr, and I would accidentally press the internet button, and I would freak out. I'd be like, oh my gosh, how much am I going to pay for this luxury? But I still climbed trees and I still got in the mud, chased frogs. Like I had an internet-free childhood. And so when these internet and social media started coming in when I was in high school and college, I really resisted it. But I realize now that everything's a tool. Everything is a tool. You don't have to be a Luddite and resist technological advances. Everything is a tool, including ChatGPT. There's a lot of resistance towards that too. But you know what? I did a lot of copywriting, and this is actually helping you because it gets all the grunt work out of the way, and then you can actually use your human mind, get in between the lines and do all the nuances that a machine can't really do. The outputs you get in ChatGPT or any other tool, the internet, is only as good as the inputs you put in. So you're still winning as a human. So let's talk about what makes a podcast unique and what's so special about it. Podcast listeners, on average, are more affluent than any other audience. In terms of percentage of population, not many people listen to podcasts, but those who do are more willing to spend more money on your big offers. And the reason they're more willing is because they're listening to you long form, they're driving, they're working out, they're walking, they're doing something in which they are fully plugged into you. You have their complete and full attention. With Instagram and YouTube and these other types of content, usually the other person's on the shitter or something, right? Like they're a bit distracted. They're in between. But with podcasting, you have their full attention. So this is a really cool area, really cool medium where you can really leverage this connection you have with your audience. Podcasting is just another example of legacy systems being replaced by more modern tools. For instance, direct mail is now replaced by email. Newspapers have been replaced by blogs. Sitcoms and TV have been replaced by YouTube. Reality TV, behind the scenes type content has been replaced by Instagram and TikTok. And radio has been replaced by podcasts. So why should you care? Why should you create a podcast? I genuinely believe that if you want to succeed in the 21st century, you need to leverage your digital footprint. You need to leverage your digital value. You have an online value. Your social life is very intertwined nowadays with your digital life. You have a digital value. The same thing is true with other facets of your digital life. There's no better dating app in the world than Instagram. Why? You can track someone's whole history. You can see who they are, how they grew, and you can see their network, right? Again, I was resisting this a lot. You do have a digital value. I'm serious. It's very harsh, but it's true. If you want to improve your value as a man, as a woman, you need to have a strong digital footprint. And what's really cool about podcasting in particular is that it makes it fun. You can create an audience about something, some topic you find interesting or that you have experience in. You can help other people. You need a personal brand, okay? You can no longer just have your tiny Facebook page where it's just your aunts and your dogs. If you want to grow, if you really want to thrive in the next coming years, you need to really emphasize who you are in the digital marketplace. And the reason I believe that's so strong is because, again, there's nothing more niche than you. You have a unique life experience, you have unique perspectives, and people will connect with you. So this episode is going to teach you how to launch a podcast for free. The internet is really good at telling you how to launch a podcast, but the internet's really bad at telling you how to grow a podcast. I've been speaking with some podcast experts. I actually enrolled in some Facebook groups on how to grow my show, and I'm going to give some of those nuggets at the end of this episode here, but this episode is focused only on launching. As I touch on the tools and software is all free that you can use to launch your podcast, I just want to emphasize that you should leverage tools. You want to work smarter, not harder. You don't have to suffer. You no longer have to use your RSS feed, find your RSS feed, make your RSS feed to post a podcast anymore. There's all these hosting sites that do this stuff automatically for you. So again, just leverage tools that are available for you. If you're just listening to the show right now, that's fantastic, but I'm about to share my screen. So if you want to see the tools I use and the walkthroughs I'm about to provide, then check out my YouTube page. That's where I'm going to have this whole episode in visual format for you to follow along. So with that said, let's share my screen here. Pero qué pasa? All right, so let's talk about hosting your podcast. Hosting your podcast can be done in different sites. I use Red Circle. What was really cool is that I jumped on Red Circle years ago. So if you see here, scroll all the way here, I started my podcast in January 20th, 2021. That was either Trump's last day or Biden's first day. I thought the world was going to end, so I just started a podcast, right? And I hosted this on Red Circle, which I believe had just launched. So I'm doing all this for free. I can host unlimited episodes for free. I believe now you have to pay a little bit for that. But guys like Solbra, they use Anchor. Anchor is a service that's made by Spotify for podcasters. It's absolutely free, and they will distribute your podcast episode on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, of course. And it's really easy. Just follow along. Just fill it out here. They take care of the RSS feed, all that stuff for you. Red Circle does it too. And what's really cool about Red Circle, and I've done this multiple times. Here, let's go into an episode. Here, you can see the future episode I've planned. But let's say for this episode, I want to go in here, edit episode. You can have upload your media here. You can have it different per episode. I can say something here. What's up, right? You can link certain things. This is the show notes, right? You can put Instagram, whatever. You upload your MP3 file. This is what's really cool. We're going to get into recording your audio in a second. This is the function I really love with Red Circle. I believe you can do this with any other hosting site, but you can schedule when you want your podcast to be released. This one is for Wednesday. So this should be here, actually. And I like to release my episodes in the morning. So when people are on their commute on the East Coast, they can consume this. More options, right? Episode number, blah, blah, blah. And so that is Red Circle. Red Circle also gives you podcast analytics. Here, let's look at my numbers. Right, I'm about to cross 3,000 downloads, which is going to be super exciting. Big spike here. And gives you some, so a lot of you guys, the majority of you guys consume this on Apple Podcast shows, on your mobile device. And I have here's a map of where all my listeners are. ¿Dónde estás? Nadie en España, ¿qué pasa, chicos? Vamos. See, there's I think that's Alec. You see, it's like between France and Spain. What I really like about Red Circle as well, if you check out here, distribution, it automatically will share it to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, all these sites for you. It does all the heavy lifting for you. That's why I really like Red Circle. A lot of people also swear by Buzzsprout. Let's check out Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout, here we go, making podcast hosting easy. Analytics, you always want your analytics. Let's check out the pricing. Okay, so they do have free. Okay, but it's going to be hosted 90 days. Your episodes would be hosted 90 days for free. You have 2 hours limitation per month. So that would be 2 episodes for me. That'd be a bit less than I would like. But they have $12 a month, $18 and $24 a month options. So that's Buzzsprout for you. I like Red Circle. I don't have a affiliate link or anything for Red Circle. I just really like them. I believe they are charging now. So you can check out Anchor, which is completely for free. That's the one that Solbra uses. I can prove it to you actually here. You see that logo right here on the top right of Solbra's pod? That's the Anchor logo. So yeah, and podcasting's super exciting. If you want to get more reviews on your podcast, let me show you something really cool. I had like 6 ratings about a week or two ago, and now I have 12. The way I doubled that is I am an avid listener of Russell Brunson, and one of the guys I connected with is Kevin Schmidlet from Grow the Show. Grow the Show is an amazing podcast, amazing community. Let me actually just show you. Actually, let's not do that. Hang on. I'm going to show you my Facebook here. Look at all the benefits. Look at all the inside looks you guys are getting. Okay, let me just show you some behind the scenes. This is the Facebook group for podcasters. It's absolutely free for you guys to join. I'm going to put the link in the bio. But this is Grow the Show. Other podcasters talk to each other, give themselves helpful advice. Let me show you what I just posted in the group. Yeah, so hey, fellow podcasters, just found out how to get your host image to appear on Apple Podcasts. So this is a new feature I helped how to do. I figured out how to do, and I'm helping others figure that out too. They have all kinds of summits, and people just help each other out a lot. So it's really cool. That also connected me to a tool called PodLottery. And I'm going to have the link to PodLottery in the show notes as well. PodLottery is only available on your phone. It's not on desktop. But the guy who launched PodLottery actually worked with Apple. So they created a way that they can verify whether you actually listened to a podcast episode. And if you did, you can leave a review. When you leave a review, you get put into this lottery where you can win other reviews by other podcasters. So I've been doing this for literally 2 weeks, and I doubled my reviews. That's one way to grow your show. And it's super awesome. But we're not here for growing the show, right? We're here to talk about launching your show. So let's go into actually recording your audio. I use this function here, Audacity. Audacity was first introduced to me in elementary school. It's a free tool. It's super awesome. It looks like it's still like in 2005. I love that. But it's super powerful. It has a lot of effects. I like to fade my outro song sometimes. Here you can see that I clip up all the audio here. We can zoom in. I trim out a lot of ums. I also tell my guests this every time I have an episode. I'm like, hey, my job is to make you look as good as possible. If you say something you regret, if you want me to clip something out, just let me know and I'll do it. Oftentimes I do, but that's the way to edit audio here. I won't teach you like the effects of like compressing. It's very important to compress your audio and clean it up, but you can do that all here. Again, it's completely for free. And then when you are done editing, you can go and export it as an MP3. When you export it as MP3, you can go into your hosting site and upload the audio. So we go here, upload audio, blah, blah, blah. Here's an MP3 file, upload, easy money. It's right there, right? I'm not going to save that. And that's basically it. Just want to emphasize again how a podcast is one of the most unique ways to nurture all your leads. You have their ear for hours at a time. They're getting to know your intimate stories, the background of your business. You can tell so much more details within your podcast. And there's a very high likelihood that someone who is a podcast listener of yours is more willing to buy into your brand and your product because they are literally taking the time out of their day to consume and basically download your brain for the next 40 minutes or whatever it is. So business owners, if you don't already have a podcast, I highly suggest you start one. If not, try to jump on other podcasts because again, podcast listeners tend to be more wealthy and they're more willing to spend money on your offers because they're more business savvy. They know the importance of self-development. So if you're having a problem with lead gen and conversions, I highly suggest you just start a podcast. And it doesn't have to be a video format. I just like doing the videos because I love YouTube so much, but it can be an audio only format if you want to. That's actually pretty cool because you can take pauses between your phrases. You can trim out any ums or buts or any mistakes you said. You can really control the cadence of your podcast and it's completely faceless. And again, podcasting is amazing for business owners. You're going to capture an audience of people who are very likely to buy your offer. Also, in terms of video content, the choice is yours. You can have your iPhone set up on a tripod and record yourself and your guest. Ideally, they would be down to use their phone too, and they can send their video over to you. And you can have the 2 angles thing. That's really cool. Looks professional. iPhones are really top quality. I'm telling you right now, you don't need to invest in a camera if you don't want to. But if you want to do very long distance interviews, then I've been using Zoom. Had good stuff with Zoom, but Zoom has a 40-minute limit. I've been using Google Meet. So Google Meet helps me record and it actually sends me the recording. It emails it to me later on and I just download the file. It's really cool and convenient. And then in terms of other equipment, I have this blue Yeti microphone. You can have all these different settings here, whether you're talking just into the mic or if you have someone in front of you or you just want to turn it on all around the room. It has all these functions here. Tune into the YouTube to watch the actual, theatrics of what I'm doing here. Actually, let me show you something. This, hombre, this is the tripod I use to record things. It's very stable. It can hold an actual camera if it's heavy enough. It can also hold an iPhone. It's actually very convenient. The link to this actual tripod that I use and this Blue Yeti microphone that I use are linked in the show notes. In terms of microphones, you can obviously use your phone and record into here, right into the voice notes app. And then you could also plug in your headphones and talk into this little mic right here. I believe that if you're going to take something seriously, you should do it all the way through. So that's why the Blue Yeti has been accepted by the industry for years now. I actually, not many people know this, but I had a podcast. You know what? I'm going to share my screen one more time. I'm going to show you. I had a podcast when I was in college. It was a bit controversial. Oh, man, that's me. You get to watch this. You're like one of my clients now. I'm doing the share screen. You get to see the stuff. Right now, I'm sharing my screen for the Apple Podcast Connect. This is the show that I currently have right now. This used to be my old show, and you can see my old handle here too. For the OG guys who have been following me for a while now, yep, I'm Gutan. Yep, I'm Toro. I was going by an anonymous pseudonym because I was still working a corporate job. I didn't want them to find me. But Drop a Pin was my first podcast ever. I launched it in 2016. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's inactive right now. I will never activate it. The stuff that was said there, it's stuff college kids say. This is so fun. You can see your analytics here and manage all kinds of stuff here. So that is Apple Podcast Connect. You always want to be able to see your analytics in life, in anything. If you can't measure it, you can't improve. Always know where you're at. And that's basically it. That's podcasting in a nutshell. You have a message. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. It'll excite your soul when you create. We're here on this earth to create, not only by having some offspring. I genuinely believe that's the way to live forever. But you can create with your mind, with your love, with your labor. Creating a podcast is super awesome for extroverts. You know what? I'm going to put this offer out there. If you create a podcast and you have over 10 episodes, I will appear on your show. Okay. I will appear on your show, but you have to text me the code plus ultra. Just tell me plus ultra. Hey, I've already launched my 10th episode. And you know what? I'll jump on your show. I think it's super exciting that podcasters support each other. I think entrepreneurs should support each other. One note, you know what? Because I'm just going to share this with you because I want you to have the most success and just get over the roadblocks that I had to get over. You want to be super specific. And the best way to have a retention rate where people are not leaving your show is to have a very clear introduction within the first 90 seconds of your episode. So it's going to look something like this. You're going to say, hey, my name is Billy Bob. You can say something like, my name is Mateo. This podcast plus ultra is for entrepreneurs who have already launched their first offer and have made their first sale. So that first part, you really want to identify who your audience is. Easy way to do that is to identify who your audience is not, and then just trim the fat. What you're left with, that's your audience. Say that so people can resonate with your message. They're like, okay, this is for me. Second part, describe who you are as a host, what gives you legitimacy, right? I'm going to say, I'm a business owner myself. I've launched Bloxis, and I help business owners with their businesses from prospecting to fulfillment. The next thing you should do is focus on what the episode is about. A great way to do this is to have a question for each episode, and that each episode answers that question. As podcasters, if you're going to interview other people, you want your questions to bring them back into the main topic. You want to have the guardrails up, and you want to make sure the conversation is fun, but stays within those bounds. And if you're doing a monologue, again, you want to be very focused. You can just have more episodes. You want to go on a tangent, just make a note that you want to talk about something else, and that'll be a separate episode, right? But each episode, you want to make it super specific. You also want to talk about what the benefits your audience members will get by listening to your podcast. Everyone wants to have interesting conversations. Everyone wants to dive deep. That is the medium, right? That's not the benefit. The benefit would be something like, I'm getting other business owners to jump on a podcast so you can get directly from their mouths how to conquer the common roadblocks that you will face as an entrepreneur. Like, that's the benefit they're getting right away from listening to your show. And then also you want to explain the how, like the format of your podcast. People want to have reliability with any show, right? This is a podcast. You want to be able to have a cadence that's very regular. So for me, Plus Ultra is released every Wednesday. I love to just do this. Like I generally have so much fun with this that I release probably 2 episodes a week. Just I throw an extra one in there, whatever. But my audience knows they can count on me that every Wednesday they'll have some piece of information for them. So I know this is about launching podcasts, not growing a podcast, but you know what? To help you grow the podcast, I want you to think and write down the top 15 to 20 podcasters, other podcasters within your niche that you would love to connect with. And what you need to do is to dig your well before you need it and leave comments on their posts, engage with them, warm them up. You should actually be genuinely interested in what they're talking about, right? Like everyone can smell phoniness a mile away, but you warm up the conversation, you warm up the relationship, and then you can ask to be on their show. In which case you can also do a cross promo where they'll be on your show. And it's really cool. Once you get the ball rolling, you get access to their audience. They'll get access to yours. It's a win-win. And then someone from their audience is going to reach out to you. You can get on their shows and it just keeps it snowballing. It's a beautiful snowball effect. It's amazing. But that, again, that is for growing your show. Right now, we're talking about launching your show. Nowadays, it's so easy to win, right? We had guys on these skyscrapers in New York eating a bologna sandwich, hundreds of feet in the air, no cares, right? We're not competing against those guys anymore, right? It is so easy to win nowadays. It's just consistency. If you can be consistent, if you just post 1 episode a week, that's amazing. If you want to make it in the top 10% of podcasts, you literally just need to post over 100 episodes. 100 episodes. That's it. I've been taking this podcast seriously for about 4 or 5 months, and I'm at episode 33. Like, I'm a third of the way there, okay? And I genuinely love this. That's the key. Whatever you do. If it's not podcasting, you probably wouldn't listen up to here by now. It could be something else, but you just got to be consistent with whatever it is, and you will win. It is so easy to win nowadays. You just need to put in the effort. That's it. And so with that, I hope you got some value out of this. This podcast, again, is for entrepreneurs. Join the book club. I've launched a book club. I'm covering, you know what? I'll just show you guys here. Not many people see this until after the fact, but I'm reading Russell Brunson's .com Secrets. This is how to grow your online business. It's really, really helpful. It's part of his trilogy of secrets. I already finished Traffic Secrets. That's already been posted in the group. I have a Discord group, actually, which is the book club, where we all discuss these books. I post in PDF format pictures of the nuggets from these books so you can just get all the value of a whole like 300-page book in 3 minutes. You can just get it in your head. Again, .com Secrets, that's going to be in there in the next week or two. Yeah, so please join the book club. It's called the Literary Society or Litsoc. I'm building a ton of offers in the background with other business guys. I know you're going to get a lot of value from joining our community. The Plus Ultra community is super cool. There's nothing like it on the planet. Again, guys, if you've been thinking about launching a podcast, you've been on the fence, it's time to jump off the fence and join the world of creation. You are a creator. Deep down, we're here to create. We're here to leave a legacy. So I hope to see your podcast. Again, if you want me to be a guest on your podcast, you need to have at least 10 episodes and let me know. I'll be on your show. So again, Plus Ultra, much love. Go call your moms. Tell your people you love them. Peace out.